Let's be honest, the era of using artificial intelligence as a simple little machine to write generic text is over. Forget about that moment when you gave a basic instruction to a tool and waited to see what came out. That's far, far behind us. Today, we bring you a detailed look at what is already a tangible reality, a true marketing operating system. We're going to break down InBoxIA in depth. And I promise you, this is not just another tool. It's an integral cognitive architecture that is literally changing the rules of the game right now. So here's our plan for today. 1. We'll understand what this new operating system is. 2. We'll dive deep into its real cognitive cycle. 3. We'll analyze its strategic memory and brand score. 4. We'll see how it works as a critical agent. And 5. The main course, full autopilot. All of this, I insist, working in real companies today. Let's start from the beginning, the new operating system. Or in other words, the evolutionary leap from being a simple content generator to a true marketing director. Look, the paradigm shift here is huge. Think about it this way. In the past, we had the classic post generator. You know, something static that creates text but doesn't really understand your business, that responds to what you ask, but never proposes anything on its own. However, today's reality is what we call a marketing operating system. We're talking about an autonomous ecosystem that manages strategy, cross-references metrics in real time. And pay attention to this. It makes decisions on its own initiative without you having to push the button. And of course, the big question is, how do you achieve this autonomy? Well, that brings us to our second point, the real cognitive cycle. Let's look at exactly how this intelligence thinks. To truly understand it, we have to look at its mental map. It's 5 steps that happen sequentially and continuously. Observe, understand, decide, execute, and learn. And no, this isn't your typical software diagram. It's exactly the same thought process a world-class marketing director follows, constantly assessing the field before taking the next step. Let's go to the first step, observe. And here I want to be very clear. We're not talking about a couple of software integrations. It's not just plugging in your Shopify or your CRM, and that's it. Not at all. The system uses these connections as if they were real senses. It literally monitors, in real time, whether it's raining in your city, what your competition is doing today, what inventory is sitting in your warehouse, and what your sales history looks like. All the context of your business flows toward a single central brain. And here's where the magic happens, in the understand phase. The system doesn't just dump raw numbers at you. It doesn't simply tell you your reach dropped 20%. No, it formulates actionable hypotheses. For example, it understands that sales fell because it's been raining for 3 days straight, and it automatically detects that it's the perfect moment to launch a campaign for a comforting product or to boost your delivery service. From data to strategic conclusions, directly. All right, it has understood the problem. Now we move to the decision engine, decide. Long before writing a single word for a post, the AI does 4 key things. It identifies the business objective, thoroughly analyzes the problem, recommends a strategic action, and projects the impact it will have. This level of risk assessment is incredible because it guarantees that every cent and every effort is mathematically aligned with what your company needs to achieve. And we reach the execute phase. And pay attention, because this is the key to everything. Writing the post copy or generating the image is, at most, 20% of the system's work. Its real power lies in orchestrating entire strategies across multiple channels. It launches a video on Reels, it prepares the automatic follow-up message on WhatsApp, it adjusts your ad campaign budget, and it sends the email to your database. All at once and perfectly synchronized. It's amazing, but the cycle doesn't end there. The 5th step, learn, is the ultimate competitive advantage. After every campaign, every message it sends, the system analyzes what worked and what failed. And with that, it builds a knowledge moat that is completely unique and tailor-made for your company. In other words, no one else in your sector will have an AI that understands the nuances of your brand with this level of precision. It's unreplicable. All this constant learning leads us straight to our 3rd block, strategic memory and brand score. Or in other words, how to achieve deep business knowledge. What puts InBoxIA in another league is its strategic memory. It doesn't just store loose data or dates. It absorbs the philosophy of your business. Imagine that a month ago you launched a super aggressive sales campaign and lost engagement because the tone didn't land. Well, the system remembers it, burns it into memory, and adapts its tone forever. It guarantees that the same strategic mistake won't be made twice. We'd all love every team to have that quality, right? And so you can measure all this knowledge at a glance. The system gives you a brand score. It's a highly personalized index of the digital health of your business. It measures complex variables, such as whether your identity is consistent, your level of interaction, and your conversion. But the best part isn't the cold number. The best part is that it explains, with solid arguments, why those metrics went up or down this week. All right, let's move to the fourth point. And really, get ready, because this breaks all the rules. The system, acting as a critical agent, capable of questioning a bad strategy. Listen carefully to this scenario. Faced with a human request to launch 5 offers in a row in a single week, the AI responds, "I don't recommend this. In past campaigns, we lost engagement when we exceeded 2 promotions per week. Do you realize?" It tells you no. It refuses to execute something that it knows, from history, will damage the brand, and it proposes a better alternative. This proves that you have a strategic partner sitting at the table, not a blind little machine that obeys without thinking. This perfectly illustrates where the real value lies today. Blind obedience, which is what tools did until now, gives you volume. Yes, but it often generates very costly mistakes. In contrast, strategic reasoning acts like an expert consultant. It explains why it makes each decision, it debates the approaches with you, and above all, it protects your brand's assets. It raises the quality of your marketing in a radical way. And finally, we reach block 5, the ultimate goal of every modern company: full autopilot. Obviously, you're not going to hand over the keys to your business on day one. The transition to this level of autonomy happens with absolute control, using 3 operating modes. You start in assistant mode, where the AI proposes and you approve every step. When you see it works, you move up to semi-automatic mode, so it manages low-risk tasks on its own. And finally, when trust is total, you move to full autopilot mode. There, this ecosystem plans, executes, converses, sells, and analyzes all by itself, always respecting the limits you've set. The operational results of this are undeniable. The real data we have tells us that companies are recovering more than 20 hours a week. 20 hours. That's literally half of a full workday every week that you stop throwing away on manual, tedious tasks, and that now goes straight back into the business so you can focus on real growth. But watch out, because the heart of the matter isn't just the time you save, it's the direct impact on the bottom line. We're talking about an active increase of up to 35% in sales. And why is that? Well, because you're operating with agents that converse and close sales 24 hours a day, running campaigns intelligently designed by a brain that simply never sleeps. So, at this point, the transformation from a simple text tool into a complete business brain has already happened. It's a reality. Those who keep dictating instructions to basic generators are losing precious ground to operating systems that direct and learn. After analyzing the depth of its cognitive cycle and its capacity for autonomous execution, the inevitable question we have to ask ourselves is simple, but vital for any business. When is the exact moment to leave the past behind and finally switch on the true engine of the future?